Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Starfire McFarlane Collector Edition, and really what we're going to do is see if we can make it through the intro without the figure falling over. She's doing a pretty good job so far. Those heels are not very stable, but look at that. Look at that, almost a full rotation. Anyway, this figure is something I got a long time ago, forgot I had it, and since it's something I know a lot of people are interested in, I figure I might as well get a review in for you guys before the end of the year. And there's some good stuff about it for sure, some stuff that's kind of disappointing, but we'll see. Maybe it's going to be one that's worth having. She made it all the way around. So let's go ahead and get her off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before we take a look at the figure, I do want to show you my package. Standard packaging other than the extra chrome on there, which is nice, and McFarlane packaging is bad. It's simple, not bad, it's good. It's simple, but it gets the job done. I think it's a pretty solid packaging, no problem with that at all. It's probably a little bit simple, I suppose, for people who want to display on card or in the box, but the chrome's nice, so there you go. Alright. Let's take a look at this one. I don't think she's ever been available in stock at Big Bad Toy Store. If so, I'll put a link in the description below. If not, I'll put something else down there that you might want to get. She stands about 17 centimeters, a little bit above that, not counting the top of her hair poof. It's going to be about 6 3/4 inches. Yeah, give or take. Here she is up against Darwin. So definitely out of scale. She's a 7-inch figure. Here she is up against Tiny Batman. He's out of scale because McFarlane figures are not very good. The scaling's off at least. Okay, so this figure. Question of the day. Do you like this outfit for her? Or do you like a different one? Different look for her? Let me know what you guys think. I'm okay with it. It might not be my favorite, but it's okay. Alright. Did they do a good job? Well, the skin tone is just bare plastic. It matches pretty well across the figure, so that's okay. It's not the worst thing in the world. A little bit shiny, a little bit plasticky, but I think since it's a skin tone, you can get away with it. The paint job is clean enough. It's not especially good. You can see it's a little fuzzy on the boobage, but it's not bad. Like, there's paint there that is paint, and it's not the worst, so it's all right. Her face, though, is pretty well done, like surprisingly clean. The lips are good, the eyes are good, the eyebrows, like everything's pretty darn good. The sculpt is alright. The hair has a fine sculpt. I don't know that they should have made it as dull. It's got a flat finish, so that's a little bit strange. But the sculpt is good, and they did do shading on it, which isn't the worst thing I've ever seen. It's better than I thought it was going to be. So that's alright. It's alright. She's not bad. As far as the paint goes. As far as the sculpt goes, there are two things that kill it for me. Kind of three. The first one is the way they've done the knees. They've done this before, and it's not really the knees, it's the quads. It makes her legs look like they're broken. Because they put the one quad head right here, and there's not the other one at all. This is way too big for not having any other muscles, so it makes her legs look like they're, like, you can see at different angles they look just warped, but that's just the sculpt. So it's a really poor way to do that. Not good. Then the other thing is her waist and chest. The waist is okay if the chest was different, but she's kind of blockish. She's very square in the upper torso. The hips are a little narrow, but that's fine, whatever. But the way they sculpted her boobage is not particularly good, and her waist has no real shape to it. So it's a little bit weird looking. It takes away kind of some of the comic aesthetic, let's say. She just looks like a plain old normal person in a suit, so it's borderline Hasbro type of stuff as far as that goes. But we'll get to the cake later. So yeah, it's not bad though. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, so I'll give it to her. It's not a bad release at all aesthetically. It could be better, but it is fine. So I will say, for McFarlane Toys, 8 out of 10. It looks pretty darn good. The different finishes aren't bad either, except the boots and gloves have the shininess, then the main part doesn't. You could argue that's intentional, but I'd like to see more of the shininess carried throughout, and more of the brighter purple, but maybe that's intentional. Don't know. So it's okay. As far as accessories go, no alternate hands, no alternate heads. All you get are her glowy things, which don't fit on her hands properly. I can't get them to stick onto her hands. They're well enough done in terms of the looks, but they just will not actually clip on in any way to her fists. It's super, super annoying. So that sucks. And then you do get a display stand that holds her up, which is one of their crappy ones, but better than nothing, so that's okay. And you get the absolute super waste of money DC plinth that's poorly painted around the DC part, and then it holds up the collector card, which I'm guessing most people don't care. If you're collecting a line like this, odds are you have enough figures that you don't need to be wasting space on your shelf with this, I was gonna say dollar store, but it's worse than that. It's like inside the bottom of a cereal box type garbage. So, accessory-wise, 3 out of 10. Not good enough, especially since the fire things don't clip on properly. Alright, let's see about her articulation. We have double ball peg in the neck, and the head moves actually surprisingly well. The hair doesn't get in the way too much given the sculpt, and it's not too heavy for the neck joint, so should be fine. You're not going to get the absolute most range out of her head, but it should be fine. Yeah, making her look up is not really going to go anywhere, but what else are you going to do? The hair is reasonable for what it is. For the shoulders, the inner ball peg doesn't really do much, so that's just a silly design. It's fine when it works, but putting it there for no reason is just nuts. Doesn't actually do anything, so be aware of that. Arms go up okay, full rotation of course. You do get a bicep swivel at the top of the glove. That's pretty cool. Well done there. I mean, it should be that way, so it's nothing special, but they did it right, so that's alright. Decent bend in the elbow, of course, and then the wrist is okay. Maybe the hands are a little big. I don't mind slightly big hands on comic characters. That tends to be how they're drawn anyway because it's more dynamic, so I'm alright with that. They actually put her joint in the right place under the ribs. Maybe it's a little bit low, but still it's better than putting the joint under the boobs because people don't move under their boobs. They move at the bottom of the rib cage. So that's pretty good. So between these two joints, let's see what she can do. Can she lean forward? Not really. Just a touch. Can she lean back? That's pretty good. Decent range going back. Going to the side. That's pretty good too. So it's alright. Wait, you get twisties, of course, all the way around. So it's alright. Not going forward still sucks, but the rest works okay. The transition from leg to diaper to torso is fine. That's alright too. So going out to the side, the legs go all the way out. The diaper comes a little bit low, but it's not super problematic, so that's okay. And then going forward, let's see. Oh, the diaper flexes well on this figure, so she can kick plenty high. And then they go back a little bit. That's alright. Thigh swivel, you would think they did like they did with the arms down here, but if they did, both of mine are incredibly stuck. And so there is virtually no thigh swivel. It's just what happens at the hip. So that's really unfortunate. It's a separate piece anyway. It's cheaper for them to just glue it together. So that's, I'm sure, what they did. I mean, unless mine are just stuck, but it takes more effort to make them actually articulate. So that's a bit of a bummer. Double jointed knees work nicely. Proportioning is pretty darn good. I like that. And then for the ankles, you get your standard McFarlane ankles, which they have good range almost always, and these ones are sculpted. So it looks good. They have good range. They're heavily ratcheted, but you did see I got her to stand up on the turnaround, so points there. Obviously really good range in that ankle. And then the toe hinge on this figure, come on. The toe hinge is well placed, and it's well enough executed that it's there, and I don't hate it. But are you really going to be using it? Probably not. It is fairly ratcheted though, so if you really wanted to, you could use it. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's there. So her articulation is fine. I think it might have been a good idea for them to put a ball peg or two in the hair. It would have been relatively easy to hide, and it would have probably helped in posing, but it's not necessary at all. And the rest of her works well enough. I'll say she's a 7. Nothing special, but she will pose some. Alright, okay, so now before we do a final verdict, we're going to do a cake rating, and I think we have the mass. Do we have the shape? There's definitely enough mass. So, mass is there. Shape is reasonable. I think she gets a 7. That is fine. That is definitely an acceptable amount of baked goods. So now it's time for the final rating. Is this the best Starfire figure ever? I don't know. How many are there out there? I'm guessing there aren't that many. Is it acceptable? Absolutely. I don't think many people are going to be terribly upset by this figure. Are they going to be thrilled? Probably not. I think it's a pretty solid release. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 for McFarlane Toys. Yeah, it costs a little bit more and there are some definite problems, but the figure is one of their better releases. So, yeah, I think that's about it for that. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, but that's it for me. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.